Good evening, my friends. This is Paul, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing to you Drowning for the Nintendo Switch. This is the kind of game that intrigued me almost immediately after I saw it in my Switch newsfeed, because once I looked closer at the description in the eShop, it said that it was a game about a teenage boy that was suffering with depression. And as I went through depression myself, I was like, oh, this could be cool and nice and relatable. Because, who doesn't want to play a game where you can actually relate to the subject material? And then I read the description on the eShop, and I kid you not, it said something along the lines of this. It said, you play as a high school boy who is suffering with depression, wander through low-resolution environments with soothing music, and try to get through the multiple endings. And it also said that it was short. So, as a result, it pretty much did the reviewing for me. Well, guess what? I'm still going to talk about it anyway. This is the kind of game that normally, if it were structured better, I probably would have said this was a masterpiece. But as much as I can totally relate to the main character and even just say like, buddy, 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 let me just give you a hug and we'll get through this, I just couldn't bring myself to enjoy this. The walking speed is abysmally slow. Mind you, I'm holding down the run button. But in most of the scenarios in this game, you can't run. You have to literally walk slowly because it's supposed to be symbolic of how people with depression have a hard time even just getting out of bed, so you therefore have a hard time moving. When the experience feels like it's buggy just for the sake of simulating depression, that doesn't exactly make for good game design. It stinks that there isn't an option for players that want to get through the game quicker to be able to run a lot faster, especially if they've already been through these scenes before. As it is, the game doesn't even have an options menu. When you start up the game, you only get new game, and that's about it. You go into the pause menu and you have the option of quitting or skipping the scene, because there are 4 different endings, at least as far as I could tell. There's not too much information on this game yet. And the endings range from absolutely terrible to possibly the best thing a depressed person could do, and pretty much the equivalent of what I ended up doing to get rid of my depression. The problem is that this game is just so darn boring. All you do is you walk through these drab environments, and they get gradually more depressing as you go through the story, and every now and then you have a choice of, should I go forward or should I go backward? And that's pretty much the extent of how you get the different endings. There's no interactivity whatsoever. There's no one to talk to, no buttons to press, no challenges, no life bar, no timer. You just walk along a linear path with a lot of invisible walls preventing you from exploring, and you just watch as this white text, which oftentimes blurs terribly with the oversaturated lighting, and you're asked to just keep wandering through it all. Not only that, but even if you were to get emotionally invested in the writing and you said someone just give me a script of this and then I don't have to play it, well, there's a lot of typos in here. So even if you do get this game just for the story, it's very hard to take it seriously when they either misspell or put 2 words together or don't use proper punctuation. Made even worse is the fact that there's hardly any context to what is actually going on in the story. The one thing of note is that the kid's parents get a divorce, but he doesn't talk about what caused the divorce. He doesn't talk about the reasoning. He just, keeps opening up this guilt trap. He keeps saying that his friends don't like him, but hardly ever does he say why they don't like him. They don't really talk about his personality very much, except to say that he's quiet. Generally speaking, when you're going through depression, it is, of course, very accurate that you become very self-centered, but this is just absurd from the point of an outsider. You should at least try to do a little bit of context. Okay, well, did this guy like any girls? Maybe he could clarify to the audience who the person in blue text is that encourages him on some of the good endings. And I get that a lot of the people that are playing this game are going to be thinking that they don't want too much context, and they want to sort of it be a self-insert story. And in that respect, this is a masterpiece. The creator even went so far as to imply that this is based on his own personal experiences, if you go by the ending credits. So with that, yeah, I would say if you're the type of person that loves stories that'll make you cry because they're so relatable, this is only about $3, and yeah, that's about as much money as this game is worth. Maybe more like $1, because it doesn't take very long at all. You could probably beat it in about less than a half hour if you know what you're doing. Possibly even less than that if the game would just give you a run button. Thankfully, you can skip the scenes if you've already seen them when you're trying to get the alternate endings, but trying to figure out what they are really isn't that tough. Like I said, it's all a matter of should I go this way or that way, but the game doesn't give you very many options because there are so many invisible walls and not game-breaking glitches, but it just feels like this is so unfinished. Like, are the textures supposed to be this bad? Is this supposed to be some kind of metaphor of the brain fog that we experienced during depression? I feel like he's trying so hard to convey what it feels like to be depressed that the gameplay is an aside compared to the emotional toll. And in that case, why didn't he just write a short story or a blog post? Like, why did this even have to be a video game? If you're gonna want to help someone experience what it's like to have depression, then the gameplay should be engaging enough to help people care. But I just couldn't find myself caring because the boredom of the game was outweighing the emotional impact that I think the creator was trying to get at. So at the end of the day, I ended up just saying, I mean, the music is nice, and the game's nice and short, so it's definitely not going to be this painfully long, drawn-out experience, but like Gone Home, it just feels like the gameplay suffers too much at the expense of what's supposed to be this super connected, emotional story. And I feel like I'm on a broken record here, but maybe that's a good thing because people in depression tend to repeat the same things over and over again, as seems to be the case in this game as well. So if you like a person saying over and over and over again, they don't like me, my friends don't like me, my friends hate me, my friends think I'm terrible, then this game is right up your alley. Just don't ever use this as a metaphor of good writing, because this may quite possibly be some of the worst grammar I have ever seen in a video game. And that is someone who played the Ace Attorney trilogy. So with that, I hope I wasn't too negative. Really, if you're an emotionally invested person, you're probably going to get a lot out of it. But if you're the type of person that says gameplay first, story later, then you can skip this without even thinking twice about it. With that, thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions about depression, please let me know. My pinned video as of now is actually how I got out of depression. So if you need some help, I'd be glad to do it. With that, thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, keep the faith, stay epic, God bless, and make sure to seek help if you're going through depression. Do not try to solve everything by yourself, as tempting as that may sound. Bye!